I have the urge to like, for people who have made it this far into the video, I haven't clicked out of it, just sort of like, I know that there are some people who are going to hear some of what we're saying, and we talked about it beforehand and go, you know, they're reactionaries, you know, or they're just like, they're reactionary post left, you know, like they've kind of given up on the left, so now they're slipping into this slippery slope territory where they're going to ultimately end up embracing things that go against the will of our immortal science. Right. And I want to speak to also people who might be feeling defensive at the way that we're talking about the left or leftism or whatever, this idea of like a left. Like, and I want to ask those people, like, why are you getting defensive? What would you be getting defensive about?
Right.
And to me, I would wager it's probably identity. It's identity-based stuff. It's they feel that their identity as a leftist that they've held, they got the merch, they got the t-shirts, they've told their cousins and their family members, this is me. Tattoos, they've invested in that identity, and now you're insulting that. And you're insulting this again, thinking monolithically, the centuries of struggle and the people who died and sacrificed, you know, for us to get out of these systems. You're insulting that legacy and you're shitting on it. You know,
or it's dangerous because you're saying right-wing talking points, or like, oh, you're opening this is CIA propaganda, what you're saying.
Hey, straight up to the people who died point, fuck that. I could not give a less of a shit about that. Like we
all die. You understand?
Hey, we all die. Just because you died doesn't mean you were right. That's the weirdest thing. Yeah, no, everybody fucking dies.
Right. Also, if we're wrong, why are you bothered?
Yeah.
I don't really get ruffled when people are just clearly wrong and dumb. Usually I'm just like, wow, they're wrong and dumb. I'm going to move on with my life.
Right.
If we're such fucking idiots, I mean, honestly, that's the real contradiction, is like, oh, if we're such unserious idiots, why are we a threat to you?
Can I give what I feel is my real, the deepest response to that? It was never about individual heroes and people. It's always been about freedom.
Right.
It's not even about your fucking leftist flag and identity. It's about freedom. That's my personal opinion.
Liberation.
It's about freedom.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the point of the quote unquote struggle. Right. That's the point of the quote unquote theory. That's the point of it.
Right.
Is to get free.
Right.
I'm not invested in leftist as an identity. I'm not invested as a specific tendency as an identity. I'm interested and invested in freedom, getting free, me, myself, and understanding that I can't get free unless other people are free.
Right.
That's what I'm interested in. That's what I'm invested in. That's not how most of the left, the so-called left, operates. Most of the so-called left does not understand that. And that's why I personally, like, I don't want people, there's tons of great ideas. There's tons, the shit, we came to realize what we're talking about through left struggle in literature and history. It's revolutionaries, including people who died, who teach us this shit, people who sacrificed, who teach us this shit. That's part of where it comes from, you know, but I don't care for us to be like neatly put in this, like, oh, they're a leftist, like the Church of Leftists. No,
we're not. We're not.
No.
Because here's the thing, like, then what does that make whatever you try to do? Like, then you're just going to get put in that same fucking category. Anything you fucking do. Like, then nothing can be its own fucking thing at that point. Right. If it has to be categorized. Please. You're limiting the
possibilities.
The possibilities of everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Please look into Zapatismo. It's really helpful to look into Zapatismo because it's about a methodology and how, you know, in terms of action practice, it manifests itself in different localities and different places around the world. It's different. It's different. Yeah. And, you know, there's common threads on the freedom tip. There's common threads on the cooperation, communalism, democracy tip. but the culture, the expression, the how you relate to the land, it's different. It's gonna be different. There's no one size fits all. And I think that's the lesson in this. It's a hard pill to swallow. There is no one size fits all. Even to try and perceive and break down and understand our reality, it is so complex and so different. And the best that I feel like we can do is cultivate that instinct in ourselves and that instinct, it leads to analysis. It leads to a specific critique that you might have in a particular context or how you perceive the world. But no, there's not this bite-sized, easy.
And you want that. You don't want it to be simple.
Right.
Every fucking thing you've gotten mad about how there's not nuance on the internet anymore, how there's bad faith, how there's all this shit, it comes from that same instinct to categorize and to oversimplify things and to not see the nuances of things and see things from a greater level, a systemic level.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's everything in the world, down to the ecological shit, you know, down to like monocrop cultures and shit like that, you know? It's like, I think people look at that and say that's just specific to crops or farming. Or
ironically,
no,
there's a science to this.
There is a science to
Yeah.
And the fact that they call authoritarian shit scientific socialism is a whole.
That's the irony. I mean, because it's like to have a greater diversity of thought actually benefits everything. It benefits it all.
Yeah.
Just like a biodiversity.
And to have more complex relationships than just like this vanguard party led us to freedom and now they rule over us until they decide to dissolve themselves. Like, what the fuck is all of this shit, man? Right. Can we just develop organically in ways that we see fit and like, you know, just fall into the places that we naturally fall into? You know, find the roles that make sense for us and just like extrapolate from there. Do things as they come organically. We don't have to have this people provided a lot of, as you said, people provided a lot of background for us to get here.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be this dogmatic, just like rigid system. Because if it was so prescribed,
right,
would it not have happened by now?
Right.
In all of the times that it's been tried.
Right.
Can we not?
Whatever it is. Yeah.
It's like, in all the times that it's allegedly been tried. You know?
Yeah.
But like at a certain point, and that's part of what we talked about this before the show. That's part of why I think, because I went from very quietly identifying as a socialist, but not knowing what the fuck I was talking about, straight back to just like letting go of the label entirely.
Right.
Because you try to have that conversation about socialism as a philosophy, and the first thing people want you to do is defend the legacy of some shit you're not even fucking interested in.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I don't give a fuck about Stalin. I'm not trying to build a state. I don't even know how to do that.